When we were down to a hard core of 6 or 7, we'd talk tired stone talk about the war, imitating commanders who were always saying things like, "Well, Charlie's dug in there pretty good, but when we can get him out where we can see him, we find we're getting some real decent kills. We got Charlie outgunned for sure. Only thing is, we can't kill him. We can't see, because Charlie's always running. Come on, we'll take you up and get you shot at." We talked about a discotheque we were going to open in Saigon, the Third Wave, with a stainless steel dance floor, blow-ups of the best war photographs on the wall, a rock group called Westy and the KIAs. Our talk had about as much taste as the war did. And we'd talk about LZ LOON, the mythical place where it got dark so fast that by the time you realized that there wouldn't be another chopper in until morning, you'd already picked a place to sleep for the night. Loon was the ultimate Vietnam movie location, where all of the mad colonels and death-spaced grunts we'd ever known showed up all at once, saying all the terrible, heartbreaking things they always said, so nonchalant about the horror and fear that you knew you'd never really be one of them, no matter how long you stayed. You honestly didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Few people ever cried more than once there, and if you'd used that up, you laughed. The young ones were so innocent and violent, so sweet and so brutal. Beautiful killers. Standing around with some Cambodian mercenaries, bandits actually, every squad carried pliers for pulling gold teeth. All looking like we're having a great time waiting for the choppers to come and take us off. Only way out. We had the entire base in the top, but everything in between was all full up with Viet Cong. A National Geographic map of Indochina with about 100 pencil marks, every place I ever went there. Dots and crosses and big crosses even. Wherever I'd been in or near combat, my vanity had told me I'd pulled through, not scathed. Attached to every mark in the complex of faces, voices, and movements that gathered around each one. Real places, then real only in the distance behind me. Faces and places sustaining serious dislocation, mind slip and memory play. When the map fell apart along the fold lines, its spirit held together. It landed in safe but shaky hands, and one mark was enough. The one at LZ LOON. At dark, they finished the perimeter, doubled the guard, and sent half the company out on patrols. A brand new no-name Marine LZ in the heart of Indian country. I slept like a morphine sleeper that night, not knowing which was awake or asleep, clocking the black triangle of the raised tent flap as it turned dark blue, fog white, sun yellow, and it felt okay to get up. Just before I flew back to Da Nang, they named it LZ LOON, and Flynn said, "That's what they ought to call the whole country. A more particular name than Vietnam to describe the death space and the life you found inside it." When we rebuilt Loon on China Beach that day, we laughed so hard we couldn't sit up. The war ended, and then it really ended. The cities fell. I watched the choppers I'd loved dropping into the South China Sea as their Vietnamese pilots jumped clear, and one last chopper revved it up, lifted off, and flew out of my chest. And no moves left for me at all, but to write down some few last words and make the dispersion. Vietnam, Vietnam, Vietnam. We've all been there.